It is my absolute pleasure to be here this morning to present our wonderful VBT Bicycling Vacations Waterway product. I'm happy to be joined today by my colleague who is based and lives in Hungary, Csaba, and we'll introduce ourselves a little bit more formally in just a couple of slides. But we hope that you'll settle in and really get excited about this product for your clients. Not only the biking component, but the way that we've mixed in these wonderful vessels to complete the experience. My name is Glenn Letch. I'm National Accounts Manager for both VBT and Country Walkers. I am happy to have been working with this product with Country Walkers initially for almost 10 years. It is truly an amazing product. It's so much fun when you get out on tour. I have a lot of experience in the travel industry as an agency owner and other parts of the business and hospitality. I never really sold these type of tours when I had my agency. We were kind of a traditional cruise, business travel, all-inclusives, that type of experiences. But boy, I wish I had added this to my portfolio, because I think we had a lot of clients that we didn't know were doing these tours right under our nose. And again, it's so achievable for so many people that may think they can't do it. We have great ways that they can. I'm here to make your business grow. So beyond this webinar, if I can ever assist, please reach out to me, whether it's some materials, training, some sort of extra efforts for your offices. I'm here to help, and I have a lot of experience taking our tours and including my wonderful trip on our bike and barge from Amsterdam to Bruges a couple of years ago. And that's my group photo right there. We had just such a great time on that cruise and tour. And I'm going to turn it over to Csaba to introduce himself. I am happy to work with this gentleman. I miss seeing him over the last couple of years due to, we know what's going on out there in the world and travel restrictions coming back and forth. But he's a wonderful man and really passionate about this product.
Thank you very much, Glenn, for introducing me and inviting me. And good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Csaba Gács, and I was born and raised in Budapest, Hungary, which is also my current residence, as you can probably assume from my special accent. I've been involved with VBT and Country Walkers since 2010, first as a bike tour leader, then continued as a full-time associate. And my current position is a product director, managing all kinds of waterways tours, including bike and barge and bike and river cruise programs. So I am more than happy to answer your tour-specific questions, or feel free to send me an email to my below address at any time. Thank you, Glenn.
Excellent. Thank you, Csaba. So today, just a quick review of what we're going to cover, a little bit on our brands and our Xanterra travel collection, which we're part of, the different VBT Waterways styles, our Waterways tours, and where we sit for 2022, which is very actively booking as we talk here today. A little bit on our COVID-19 actions and plans, just kind of an update on how to find the latest details and information for your clients and yourself, and then some resources for agents. And we're going to do a little door prize virtually and so forth. So start with a little bit about our company. We are part of Xanterra Travel Collection. So you'll see all the logos down on the slide. These particular logos in the portfolio are all commissionable to you. I'll show you at the end, we have a great new travel agent piece that really gets in detail over all of these different entities, but we're happy to be part of this well-backed organization with Xanterra. And we know being well-backed is so important over the last couple of years, and we've found a way to get through the roughest part last year. We've been operating again this year with its challenges. It's not always easy as it was maybe in 2019, but we're happy to be trundling through it, and we look forward to a bright future ahead. Our offices are based in Vermont, but we have staff located around the world, as evident by Chaba. I myself am based in Southwest Florida, and from there I make my way around to many different points around the country and the world, for that matter. We do feature two brands, so Country Walkers and VBT fall under our particular outfit based in Vermont. Collectively, we have 133 active itineraries, very immersive in their worldwide destinations. We only do active travel, and we have a great, well-seasoned travel staff that develops these tours and makes everything seamless all the way through. We'll share some very exciting news at the very end of this presentation that really makes us happy for all the effort we put into our tours. So no matter what brand you're on, we have some real core components that are going to exist on every tour. These great local guides or leaders, so guides for walking, leaders for biking. We have great accommodations, boutique style hotels, very memorable lodging that we use. If you're putting stars on it, 4 to 5 star for most of our products. There are some that may be classified as a 3, but they're typically very nice and they're remote. So maybe they don't have the latest and amenities to make them a 5-star, but the location makes up for it, and we have that real authentic experience. But again, most of them are 4 and 5-star lodgings, and I like to say you remember where you stay with us. Destinations, we do some real classic traditional places, you know, where you want to walk, where you want to bike. And then we have some real off the beaten path destinations that we've developed, and it's constantly changing. Every year there's new entries into our lineup, and a few that maybe get either retired or adjusted slightly and brought back at a later time. We do have all of our tours are rated for activity level, so that can incorporate on biking the average distance on a bike each day, whether it's moderate, easy, or challenging. I will say most of our bike tours are easy to moderate, and we have the great equalizer, which we'll talk about during this presentation. And then our food when you dine with us on tour, which is always going to be breakfast. And then depending on the product, it could be just about every meal or down to about half of the lunches and dinners as a group will be really authentic. You'll capture the essence of where you're traveling with us. We do offer international air packages, which we'll cover, and there are excellent pricing attached to those and some other great benefits for an agent, especially in this very difficult air environment we deal with right now. And then we've always been safe. You don't operate for 50 years unsafe, but we have enhanced some of the more health and safety protocols, and we'll point you in the right direction for that towards the end. So with that, I'm going to flip it back to Chaba. He's going to take us through his Waterways product. I mentioned he's very passionate about this. I've experienced it's just phenomenal, and it's such a great way to experience our tours. So over to you, Chaba, and I'm going to be your guide for slides. So just let me know when you want me to turn it over.
Absolutely, Glenn. Thank you very much. So we offer 2 different kinds of guided waterways experiences. First of all, our traditional bike and barge tours. And since 2019, we also offer the bike and river cruise programs. So on to the next slide, please. So a remarkable segment of our European tours are the so-called bike and barge tours. These privately chartered tours running currently 7 different European countries on vessels, special vessels, which were tailor-made for this purpose. We offer bike and barge tours in Netherlands, Belgium, France, Luxembourg, Germany, Italy, and Croatia. Next slide, please. So on this slide, on the right side, you can see the various bike and barge programs. I just came back from our brand new Croatian bike and barge tour last week, where we were sailing among the most beautiful islands of Croatia, such as, for example, Vis, Korčula, Hvar, Brač, Mljet, the Pelješac Peninsula. And I must tell you that this was the happiest bike group of the world probably during that particular week. We really had a fantastic time. However, the season starts with the so-called Dutch tulip tours, or as it is officially called, the springtime in Holland. Since the tulip season is limited to normally 6 weeks from end of March to early May, and due to the extremely high demand, we operate 2 weekly departures on 2 different barges. One is the more intimate Lena Maria, the other one is the premium style Princess Royale. We ran our traditional Holland and Belgium bike and boat, Amsterdam to Bruges programs between mid-May and early October aboard the lovely Phoebe. And one of our most wanted program is the Mosel Bike and Barge Tour, which operates between June and September. Due to the high demand, we also contracted 2 barges here, the popular Iris and our premium barge, which is also sailing on the Dutch Tulip Tour, the Princess Royale. And not last but not least, I have to mention Italy, where we sail between the lagoons of Venice and the scenic town of Mantova along and upstream the Po River. These are all very popular destinations with great air connections from the United States. And these tours are perfect, among others, for smaller private groups, also for couples with different cycling abilities. These are mainly ship-to-ship rides where guests are following the barge route during the day along the river or the canal. So there are several options to hop on the barge and take the afternoon for rest instead of riding the entire day. Next slide, please, Glenn. So how is living aboard these barges? One of the most attractive elements is that you actually get 2 vacations packed in one, and you really have to unpack only once for that. The entire barge is chartered for the VBT group, which is sailing during the daytime and is docking in different locations during the night. Guests have a buffet breakfast on board, and most of the lunches are arranged ashore. Dinners are served on board the barge again, with the exceptions of 1 or 2 free nights where guests can explore the mooring cities themselves and have a dinner on their own. Our guests can also enjoy the excellent services of the crew, including a private chef. If we talk about the cabins, they cannot probably compete with the size of a hotel room, but they are all very smartly designed with a private shower and toilet, for example. I have already mentioned Princess Royale. This is a premium barge which was contracted for 2022 and beyond. She will operate both on the Dutch Tulip Tours and on the Mosel Tour for up to 30 guests. So the Princess Royale, for example, can offer a slightly larger cabins with flat screen TV and spacious common areas with the jacuzzi on the outside deck. I just see a question from Cindy in the meantime. So how many people can be on board? So most of the barges, we have groups of 24 people, and except for the Princess Royale, which I just mentioned, which hosts 30 guests, and also Ave Maria on the Italian bike and barge trip can also host 30 people. On to the next slide, Glenn, please. So here you can see the important pillars of our barge tours. First of all, wonderful leaders, VBT tour leaders who are all local, and they are all experts of their area. We provide 2 trip leaders on the traditional smaller barges and 3 leaders and 2 vans up to 30 guests, just like I mentioned on Princess Royale or on the Ave Maria. We also provide professional equipment, including not only bicycles, but also bike bags, helmets, bike routes saved in the Ride with GPS application. And there is no surcharge for e-bikes if you book VBT bike tour. We also have a unique floating lodging, the Unpack Once experience, and the meals prepared by a private chef on board. Various activities throughout the week, and also support of a VBT van throughout the week. So on this next slide, you can recap the essence of the bike and barge tours. One more time, I mentioned that these types of bike tours attract couples with different cycling abilities, but also a few non-bikers as well, who just accompany their partner and can stay on the barge during the sailing or join the tour leaders in the van. And I saw a question from Patricia. If we allow children on board, I would say generally not on the VBT tours. So the lower age limit is 16. But with this age limit, we can also host very often 3 generations. We can probably have privately chartered ships where we can look into having kids as well. So Glenn, correct me if I'm wrong with that.
No, I think you're right on there. We don't do a lot of private tours. We kind of stick with our schedule, and you can imagine we're booking these, you know, on a fairly busy schedule throughout the season that everyone wants to travel. But I like to say nothing is off the table. We have a great groups manager, John, and myself. We can certainly review any requests that you have and see what we can do.
Thank you, Glenn. I can also echo your point that nothing is off the table. So yes, we can always look into a privately chartered trip anytime. So yes, also I have to mention to the previous point that these tours have a very relaxed pacing. We make sure that the guests do not feel rushed and have enough time to relax and socialize. And the great air packages are also in store, which are including 1 additional pre and 1 post-tour night beside the actual transportation and airport transfers. Beside these, we also offer attractive pre and post extensions for those who would like to add a few extra days to their 8-day bike vacation. So just as an example, the Croatian Bike and Barge. We offer a pre-extension in Zagreb and then a shuttle down to Split where they embark the barge. But on the way, we stop and provide a private guided tour at the Plitvice Lakes National Park. And when the tour is, the actual bike and barge trip is finished, we shuttle our guests to Dubrovnik where they can choose an extension, optional post-tour extension. So it is time to mention a few words about the other kind of the Waterways collection, the bike and river cruise programs. Glenn, on to the next slide, please. So these bike and river cruise tours are new in VBT's portfolio. We introduced the first one in 2019, the Danube Bike and River Cruise from Prague to Budapest. This tour includes 5 countries. The pre-night is in Prague in the Czech Republic, and people have a private bus, excuse me, shuttle to Regensburg, Germany, where they embark the ship. Due to the high demand, we introduced this program in the reverse direction as well, from Budapest to Prague. The first trip was just finished 2 days ago in the Budapest to Prague direction. And I've heard back that we had a very happy group there as well. I think everyone is happy who is traveling these days, especially in Europe, so after this long break. Another new tour for 2022 is the Rhine Bike and River Cruise from Basel to Amsterdam, including 4 countries, Switzerland, Germany, France, and the Netherlands. VBT will introduce a brand new French bike and river cruise program for 2022. Lots of introductions next year. Which will sail along the Saône and the Rhone rivers, and in order to capture the essence of the area between Burgundy and Provence. VBT offers the pre-night in Paris, and then after a 2-hour fast train ride, our guests will embark the ship in Lyon, actually. The tour ends in the historic city of Arles, in the south of France, from where we offer a private shuttle to our post-night and post-extension destination to Nice. And last but not least, this year, we will also introduce the first cruise and walk tour for our sister company, Country Walkers, between Budapest and Prague along the river Danube. So just like on the bike and barge tours, we also offer popular destinations with convenient air connections, easy terrain for biking, and the option to have non-bikers or less enthusiastic bikers on tour. I have mentioned the easy terrain, which is actually on all Waterways tours, with the exception of Croatia, I just mentioned. That is more like a moderate biking. But we offer e-bikes, and I was riding on a road bike, and we had two 82-year-olds who were waving to me as they were passing by on the uphill. So there are no limits with these new e-bikes, I have to tell you. So on to the next slide, please.
Sure. And Csaba, we had a question just on the branding of the vessel that we use. It's Emerald Cruises, used to be called Emerald Waterways. They changed their name during this year, I believe, or end of last year. So that's our exclusive provider of the river cruise that we join.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Yes, that is our partnership with Emerald Cruises. Yes. So how about the life on the river cruises? So for the river bike and cruise programs, you can promote the very same advantages as for the bike and barge tours. However, there are still a few things which differ in this case. So guests have several Emerald activities to choose from if they don't want to bike. Some of them are included in the package. Some of them, the so-called Discovery More programs, you have to pay, and the guests have to pay an extra charge. But every day they offer some included excursions beside our private bike tours. Meals are all inclusive. That is an important point. And also wine, beer, soft drinks during the meals are included. More, we offer, or the ship offers, more spacious and better equipped cabins compared to the traditional barges. And there are several upgrade options to a larger cabin categories. Our guests can enjoy the facilities of the Emerald Starships. There is a pool, a gym, treatments, hairdresser, several entertainments, and of course, a wonderful English-speaking crew. These river cruises are probably a little less intimate compared to the barges, and our groups have to share the ship with other cruise passengers. There are maximum 182 passengers on the Emerald Starships, except for France, where Emerald operates a smaller river cruise ship for up to 132 guests. So unlike the barges, river cruises normally move during the night. Guests can always wake up in a new destination. And in most cases, the days began with a guided sightseeing tour in the town where the ship is being docked. And this is followed by several activities and optional excursions during the day. And of course, VBT offers a private and independent bike tour in the area on each day. So on the next slide, you can see probably the same pillars as on the barge tours. Professional local leaders, great VBT equipment, luxury lodging with all-inclusive meals and drinks. As I mentioned, the various activities from early morning to late evening, and our VBT van support. So on to the next slide, please. You can see that the river cruises have the same essence as the barge tours. However, a larger deluxe cabin, all-inclusive meals, wide range of Emerald activities and excursions beside the traditional bike tours. So this is all about briefly about the Waterways collection. I pass it back to Glenn, and at the end, I will be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you very much, Csaba. Really wonderful product, and I'm so excited to get the positive reviews and reports back from the most recent launches of our tours as we resume over in Europe. I'm going to jump in and just talk a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of our VBT experience, starting with some equipment comments. You heard Csaba mention various bikes throughout his part of the presentation. But to those that aren't really avid cyclers. To be honest, I'm not a everyday cyclist, but I understand bikes. I had the good fortune of being up in Vermont a few weeks ago and spent a week with our operations folks learning in depth about all of our bicycles and how we move them around and how we get this great equipment for your clients in place. So on most tours, we offer three choices. You'll get a hybrid bike, road bike, or an e-bike, electronic assist bike. We'll talk about those a little bit more because they're a little bit different animal. But there's never any sort of surcharge to get an e-bike or any other type of bicycle. They are well equipped. You can see them outfitted with our VBT bags, water bottle, etc. You don't see that on the e-bike, but trust me, it gets on there in a little different way. So for someone like me that is not necessarily a road biker, don't bike all the time, I live in flat Florida, hybrid bike is perfect for me. For someone that's maybe a little bit more avid cyclist and more comfortable with the downward handlebars, little lighter fit, the road bike would be perfect for them. And then for those that are really feeling that, I'm not sure, I haven't been on a bike in a long time. I saw a comment from Deb, I think she said 30 years ago, she took her first VBT tour. And you know, it's hard sometimes to get back out there and think about doing this each and every day on your vacation. So that's why we've really beefed up our fleet of e-bikes or electronic assist bikes. And what e-bikes do is they're not cheating because you do have to pedal the bike to make it operate. But what it does when it feels resistance as you're pedaling, so maybe that's a hill, maybe that it's you're tired, maybe you want to just go faster to keep up with someone that you're riding with, you can do so with ease and without any aches and pains that you might have taking a traditional bike. I honestly just used one of the e-bikes a couple weeks ago when I was in Vermont on a little 13-mile test ride, and it is phenomenal. I was just cruising up some pretty good size hills and coming right down the other side with very little effort. What it's doing is it's introducing people. So even your traditional, hey, I like to go sit on a beach type of client, or maybe any other type of vacation that they've traditionally done, it's allowed them to feel a little bit more comfortable talking to you and reserving and going on our tours. It's also equalized abilities. You can have some really avid cyclists. Sometimes they're traveling with people that aren't so avid or you know, out there every day, and allows them to enjoy the experience together. They can ride side by side and they don't have to worry about that. Always on our rides, it's going to be done at your own pace. So you're never any pressure to keep up with the group or people that you don't necessarily know or ride with normally. So it's a great way to equalize that ability and make it much more enjoyable for everyone. And it extends the career. I recently have gotten a lot of nice feedback from a couple on my barge tour. They had been on 8 tours with us, and they went on that tour just because their friends had convinced them to do it. They had a few aches and pains, and prior to that, and they took the e-bikes for the first time. They leaned into me about halfway through the tour and said, you know what, you got us for another 10 years, because these e-bikes have not only made us much more comfortable riding, but now we've also putting on our list tours that we had crossed off our list: Croatia, Ireland. And lo and behold, where are they this summer? Ireland, and then over to Croatia, back-to-back tours on an e-bike. So that's just another great little story I like to share of the way that these e-bikes extend the career. We always say, if someone's asking about it, if someone is you know, really interested in it, get them an e-bike. They won't regret it. Worst case scenario, if they feel like they're not challenged enough by the riding, they can turn it off. It becomes a heavier bike to maneuver without that motor going, but it again only engages the motor when it feels that resistance. So it's not even going all the time. Availability can be limited, particularly domestically, more than in Europe, just based on the vehicles and the amount of space required to take along the e-bikes. We are developing more ways to add more and more e-bikes on our tours. And I will say that they're doing a phenomenal job of getting that figured out. They really took off, just like they've taken off in society a lot. And so my simple advice is, if you have someone interested in an e-bike, when you reserve their tour, just question number one, is there an e-bike spot available for that? We're always going to customize the bike to the height of the guests, so we don't have to worry about that. It's more from the standpoint of, do we have one available for them on the tour itself. The other piece of technology we like to use to really modernize what we do and get rid of a lot of the paper and some of the things that maybe aren't ideal is we use a ride with GPS app, and that ride with GPS app really is a great way. It guides the guests on the tour turn by turn. It allows them at the end to save it, share it, keep a running history of all their rides. It's really a phenomenal piece of equipment, and it runs off of a phone, their own personal phone mounted to our bikes, but with no data requirements or anything like that. It's just using the GPS. And we did have a question of age limit. Chaba had mentioned that 16 is our age limit. We just don't have bikes that fit for younger children. And of course, on the upper end, there is no age limit. I've had people, as Chaba mentioned, people in their 80s. I believe we had a gentleman in his mid 90s, and he didn't use an e-bike. He did the tour a couple of years ago. So upper end, no worries. And we'll cover our demographics right towards the end. So we mentioned international air packages. I personally am involved a lot with our air and our air relations, so I'm something I'm very familiar with. But what we do is, on any international departure, we offer an air package. It will have international flights. It will have transfers on each side of those flights. So at the arrival and departure airports, a pre and a post hotel night with breakfast, and then the opportunity to add extensions to those and make them a longer package with our tour in between. What's really nice about it is the pricing. You'll find that often you can add in this air package for a lot less than just an air ticket. The other nice thing for you, and with this difficult, ever evolving environment, is that you can get your clients reserved with just the deposit. Our air department will work on the air when the time is available to do so. So 11 months ahead of the full, flight date schedule. You can hold that in, and they don't have to make a payment on that until the final payment. So you're not locked into yet another pile of air credits or so forth. There are a few exceptions, and that typically evolves around folks that maybe want an upgraded service. But even then, it's not always cut and dry that every upgrade requires payment ahead of time. Just certain ones, if we had to go to a published type of fare instead of our tour operator offerings. A little bit about our demographic. We mentioned some of the ages on the high end, some on the low end, but for our products, definitely 50 plus. With those e-bikes involved, our average age has really gone up quite a bit, probably in the neighborhood of 60 right now. They're educated and adventurous. Chaba mentioned that people are so anxious to get back out there traveling. They're so anxious to get back to Europe, me included. And so they're very adventurous, and the people that are going on our tours are not holding back. They're out there to have a good time. We do have a lot of solo travel, so about 25 to 35%. I would say on biking, it's more on the 25% range, and they do like traveling with like-minded people. Often we'll have solo travelers that go and acquire some BFFs to go on the next tour or more with them, and you form, some new traveling companions as they go. They enjoy being active, but you don't have to be a super athlete. We covered our e-bikes as a way that even someone that is a little more squeamish around a bike could have a great time. If you're a super athlete, you can go have a great time, but it's not a requirement to join our tours, and it's not an intimidation factor at all when you get on tour. We do have those varying levels of fitness. Most of our biking is easy to moderate. Most people with good mobility can do that. As Chava mentioned, our Waterways product are fantastic for those that really maybe want to dabble in the riding, but maybe want to enjoy the cruise aspect of it and the other elements like the participatory experiences we include every day. Really, Waterways is a fantastic product for that. And of course, we do want everyone to be open-minded and eager to learn about the culture, because with our local leaders, we want to dive right in. We don't want to come back thinking we got the brochure version. We want to go in depth and really learn about the area that we travel to. Our agent benefits, so our base commission is 10% of the tour price. That's after any client discounts that may come up, I should say. We don't do a whole lot of discounting as a company right now or for several years. But we do offer credits and the ability for frequent travelers to earn additional savings on the next tour. So we figure that in, we pay you on the difference. And the average commission that we sent out the door for 2019, 2020 wasn't much of anything. 2021 is $725 a booking. Now, it's not unusual for me to see commissions that are, north of $1,000 for a couple going on some of our tours. So good way to make some money. I know at the beginning we got a chat message from Deb saying she'd been on a VBT tour 30 years ago. And I think then again, 9 years ago. Well, come on back, Deb, because we just changed our travel agent discount to a 25% off for the agent and 20% off for the in-room companion to join one of our tours. There are a few, regulations around that, particularly when it comes to how many agents may be on a particular departure, but our tour consultants are experts and they will be able to guide you through that. But nice little savings too, and that's of course in lieu of commission. Some other things that we have going on for agents, we have our travel agent pages, no special login required. They're at the footer of either website. The content is the same on whether you go to Country Walkers or VBT. It's loaded with all sorts of details on how to work with us, what the reservation process is like, etc. We have a guide, so we actually just updated this with some cool QR codes as well that link right to our brochures, as well as the new Xanterra travel collection brochure, and some updated guidance on our Country Walkers product and how we are branding that. Shouldn't say branding, how we are sorting our tour styles for 2022. We also do a monthly newsletter. So we definitely, if you're not already on our ranks to get that, we suggest you reaching out to me. I'll get you attached to your agency and agency account. And we send out a nice newsletter every month with some various up-to-the-minute updates and new offerings and other things that we like to share with our agents. I promise we don't flood your email box. Mention our Xanterra travel collection piece. Just worked a lot on this. It's really a nice piece. It's available online, but beyond our brands, including our brands as well, you can learn all about the collection and the brands that pay commission and how to get working with them, etc. It is I did put the QR code. If you wanted to take a quick snap of that, it'll take you right to that with your phone. If not, we do have it linked on our travel agent pages as well. And I definitely recommend flipping through that. It's a really nice piece. We also have new digital catalogs. So those are available for both brands for 2022. And I highly recommend using digital if you can. We're not always in front of our people, our clients right now. So digital, they'd be like they're sitting there flipping open their catalog that they just got stuffed in the mailbox. And it's a great way to get people interested in the tour. We also, for any tour, you can download an itinerary either with or without air, if it's an air package offering tour. And I suggest, even if you have some clients that are just floating around out there trying to figure out what to do, maybe find an itinerary or two, send it their way, and just see if it's something they're interested in. Our Waterways booking guidelines, it's slightly different than our land, a little higher deposit, 500 per person, little more advance on the final payment, 120 days prior. That's really related to how we contract with these vessels. And then the cancel fees are as shown. We do review this with you as you book your clients, and mention our expert tour consultants. They're phenomenal. How do you work with us? I definitely recommend calling us first. If you've never worked with us, if you've never made a booking, call us, because we want to make sure your client's very comfortable with the activity level, that we make sure we got the right bike for them, etc. I do recommend that. Beyond that, you could set up an online account through my account, and you can manage that, make payments, you can make subsequent bookings, etc. You can email us. Just send a simple email, info@vbt.com or info@countrywalkers.com. Our tour consultants will then turn that around and get right back in touch. If I can help you, I mentioned I'm always here to help. Just email me, glech@vbt.com. And I'll be happy to talk to you, to again work with you for trainings for your agency, make sure you're properly set up, I'll work with you and your clients. If I need to, I'll jump on. I have experience on the tours, and I'll be happy to talk through and find any solution that's needed. Couple of promotions we have going on. If you have past guests, they have frequent traveler credits. So now is a good time to use those. I know things have been bounced around over the last year or so with various restrictions on travel around the world. But definitely have them take advantage of those credits. Country Walkers past guests get a early booking discount if they book prior to December 15th. And then we have our standard every year, October, book by October, pay by November 11th, our goodbye discount with VBT. So they can save an additional 5%. Good promotion, good way to get people going again and get them on the books. We already know, we see all of our domestic tours are full this fall. Any European tour that we have going is pretty robust with the people booking, and already the books are heated up hard for 2022. So if you have someone even on the fence, get them on the books, get them reserved, and then they'll have their spot. If they do need to make some changes, something's not comfortable for them, they can change the booking without fee, down the road. But it's always good to lock up their spot, because people are very anxious to get back and do our tours. And I mentioned our COVID-19 actions. I'm not going to even read the list or what we have going on. It's always going to be up to date at the top of either website. And we are constantly updating those clients that are booked to make sure that they're up to date. We work exclusively with the USTOA Tour Cares program, and our ownership has the Anschutz Medical Center in Denver, who's given us some great medical advice to get through and get back out and running our tours in a very safe and healthy manner. We mentioned we have some changes to our deposits and cancel policies for 2021, and then for 2022, it's really related to the changes policy. And then any time you have a guest traveling with us, they get 24/7 support. So they're on the way and something's going awry with their air or any type of issue that may come up, they're provided a hotline number that they can call. That springs a lot of members of our team into action. And for you as a travel agent, you can rest assured that we'll take care of that guest and make sure that they're handled properly. And that's whether they take our travel protection or your travel protection, which is a little more popular with agents, because you could probably more lucrative than us. And again, well taken care of. I've used it myself, and it's always amazing how quickly things get handled with just one number to call. And I know we've talked a lot today. We're going to have I see a few questions in there. I'll answer those in just a moment, or Chaba can. I mentioned some exciting news. This is hot off the press, so hot that we haven't even got our official logo to use yet, but we were just voted Travel and Leisure's World Best, number 3 out of 10 in the ranking that we had. It's our return to this list after about a 2-year hiatus from it. We're just off the list over the last 2 years, and so happy. You know, it's a difficult operating environment out there right now. Our staff, every single one of them, everywhere they're located, have definitely rolled up their sleeves to make our tours back enjoyable for our guests and able to really get things moving forward and get what we all like to do, which is traveling back in front of everybody. And I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I'm going to answer a few questions here, but feel free to chat in any questions you might have. Let's see. So we have a question, Chaba. Are all your tours with the ships guided, or do any go on your own? And how many e-bikes do you normally have available per tour for guests?
Yes, thank you for the question. All tours are guided tours. So it's bike and barge and river cruise and bike tours. We always provide 2 trip leaders. And how many e-bikes depends, like destinations like Croatia, which is moderate. It already happened that 95% of the guests used an e-bike. So we try to be ready for the growing demand for e-bikes.
Yep, and I'll just add, domestically, most tours can handle 8 e-bikes. However, as I mentioned, I was just up deeply involved with our operations team in Vermont, and I saw ways that are up and coming that we are making, going to make more and more available, than ever before. So I mentioned I tried an e-bike. It was our new Breezer model, and I was going so fast coming down the hill, I had to hit the brakes the whole time, and that was just on a moderate assistance from the motor. Another question, Chaba, is there a supplement fee for solo travelers on the barges?
Yes, there is, depending on the tour, it is shown on the website.
Okay, great. Another question from Claire is, are you Virtuoso? So no, we are not a preferred supplier with Virtuoso. We have an upcoming announcement with another really fine network, and Virtuoso is certainly a very fine network. However, we do have some other agreements with Virtuoso agencies and hosts. So definitely for Virtuoso, if you want to contact me with your info, glech@vbt.com, I can certainly analyze your agency, and we can usually compete with some of the other offerings that are available to you in Virtuoso. Let's see, can I book a land-only price that includes pre-post hotels? We do have so we do have what's called own air, so OWN, and that's where you would provide the air, we provide the package around it, and that's typically available on all the tours, and it's grown. It's become a very popular choice. And we do have a competitive business class air price. We have a special tour operator fares that include business. Sometimes and I've been involved in business class air for 30 years. They overwhelm me with how cheap they are. So good deal. Now, some of them, if it's more of a published deal, that happens time to time. What we're doing currently is trying to avoid that and having people, you know, in uncertain times be on the hook, so to speak, for prepaid published fares. But for the most part, we have some competitive business class fares that you can just book, agree to, lock in, and you don't make a payment until final payment time. Great, some wonderful questions. I'm really happy that everyone came out today. If you think of something beyond or down the road, or you're with a client, as Csaba mentioned, he's available, of course, on Hungarian time, so you got to get him before happy hour. And I'm always available to you. I'm on the move a lot, but email is sometimes best for that. But I will certainly make a point to stop and talk to you and take care of that, and get you connected with the right people at our company. So we're going to do a little VBT prize pack, a little gift card, a nice VBT bag. You can jump right out there and show off around, and I'll mail that to you. If you just email me. So the winner of that is Karen Smith. And Karen, if you want to just confirm your mailing address with me, glech@vbt.com, I'll be happy to get that out the door to you, and you can enjoy some nice VBT gifts. All right, fantastic. Well, I think we're out of questions right now. I want to again thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to welcoming your clients, working with you, and some other great webinars coming up. We're going to really start focusing on some of these great destinations that we go to, and really make sure that you're comfortable working with our product. Csaba, I want to thank you very much. I know it's you're a busy man over there, and I know the agents and myself really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Glenn, and thank you very much for everyone for joining this webinar. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks. Take care.